Hello and welcome on behalf of WPP and Alibaba. Thank you very much indeed for joining us. My name's David Roth from WPP and it's my pleasure to host this web session. We have a cram-packed agenda and for the next 60 minutes, together with our special guests, we'll be unpacking for you some of the key learnings and implications from this year's 11/11 Global Shopping Festival, which has just finished. At the end of the web session, I'll give you details of a resource site we've specifically curated that should be your go-to place for detailed and contextual information on insights on both China and its changing consumers and of course 11/11. So let's get going. The best place to start is with the structure of 11/11 in 2020 itself, as this year was unique. 2020 11/11 was very different from all other 11/11s. In all other years, the activity had been centred on a single day, 11/11. 2020 has seen a very different shape. It kicked off on October the 20th with a Phase 1 pre-sales period from the 21st to the 31st of October, where consumers could start browsing the special 11/11 deals and preload their shopping carts. A live streaming ceremony was held on the 31st. The Phase 1 sales period started from the 1st to the 3rd of November. This new sales period was designed to bring more opportunity, new brands, and to help SMEs. Stage 2 started on the 4th of November. It comprised of a further pre-sales period lasting until the 10th. This phase was again another time that consumers could continue to browse and preload carts for 11/11. The gala event was held as usual on the eve of 11/11, and on 11/11 the day itself then became the final 24 hours sales window. So 11 days of activity with 2 phases, a very different shape to anything that's preceded it. So the question is, did this deliver? Well, let's take a look at the overall sales in GMV and some of the highlights, and you can judge for yourself the success of this very different strategy.
The health category had a really great Double 11 this year. Within the first 10 minutes of the actual 11th day, they took 100 million RMB, which is $15 million US, within the first 10 minutes.
Actually, health and food and beverage. I take the Christina, who's up doing. But yeah, the health category had a really great Double 11 this year. Within the first 10 minutes of the actual 11th day, they took 100 million RMB, which is 15 million US dollars, within the first 10 minutes. Actually, double 11 this year. Minutes.
Fab. Cool. So the health category, really great year for the health category. Within the first 10 minutes of the 11th, the actual last 24 hours of Double 11, the health category achieved 100 million RMB, which is around 15 million US dollars within the first 10 minutes. So overall category sales were up 50% year on year. So we're seeing Chinese consumers placing even greater importance than ever on their health, and that made that category one of the highest ranking for Tmall Global this year.
What trends are you seeing overall within the category, and what, in your experience, is very new for 2020?
Firstly, for the health category, there was a real focus on youthfulness. As we're doing right now, there's a lot more screen time. So the top seller was actually inner beauty supplements, products that focused on keeping you looking more youthful, slimming and hydration, so your skin looks great. And then for the wider category, it was actually all about immunity, with COVID-19 still really front of mind for Chinese consumers. So a new product that we saw coming through this Singles Day was NMN, which is a vitamin B3 derivative which fights against aging. The third top seller was supplements for joint and bone health, so products like glucosamine. And then we're continuing to see strong sales in probiotics, so maintaining a healthy gut. So what we really see is this Chinese consumer, they're really boosting their immunity so that they are more prepared for whatever they might get thrown next. And they're continuing to act preventatively rather than reactively. And we expect to see further growth within that. Then in my other category, food and beverage, throughout this year, we've seen a real move towards veganism, and with almost 90% lactose intolerance in China, that plant milk trend has continued to grow, and we expect that to grow further. But then otherwise, the trends were all about really treating yourself. So over the last few years, we've seen the growth of Starbucks and Luckin coffee in China, so people going out for a coffee. But now we're seeing that move towards the home. So Chinese consumers looking for that caffeine hit at home meant that coffee sales were up 92% this Singles Day. And then the last one I think we can all relate to is wine. Wine sales were up 400%. So yeah, that's sort of, bringing the wine bar to your home, socializing at home to combat the fear of missing out has been really big this year.
Now, what about the whole concept of live streaming? Because I suppose live streaming used to be about sort of fashion and travel. Are we seeing live streaming now transcending all sorts of categories, especially the health and beauty category?
We are. Certainly live streaming is the buzzword of Double 11 and Singles Day this year. And you're right, fashion and travel used to be dominant categories in those because they're so visual. And it's much harder to convey what a health supplement can do for you, what the benefits are, or how a drink will taste through a live stream. But we are seeing a real rise in live streaming views for these categories. One, for example, is Norwegian fish oil brand Noramega, which actually had a 900% rise in viewers for its Tmall Global flagship store live stream this year. And Probio7, a popular UK probiotics brand, had 70 million viewers for its live stream. And if you just stop and think about that, that's actually greater than the population of the UK who were watching a live stream for just one brand. And the difference between fashion and travel categories to health and food and beverage categories is that what we're seeing are a lot of CEOs and sales directors taking part in the live streams because they are best placed to really talk with authenticity and expertise about the products. So we've seen CEOs and sales directors of beauty tech brands such as Current Body and SmoothSkin taking part, as well as the director of China.
Yeah, I mean, I've got to say it's a very scary prospect for us marketeers to have the CEO let loose on real customers.
But yeah, because they work with the product every day and they really understand everything about how it works. We also saw the director of China for Vitabiotics, which is the UK's #1 vitamin company. He took part in a live stream and they saw their sales up 25% this year. So this angle of having that type of person feature on a live stream with a key opinion leader is really enabling the Chinese consumer to better understand the products, which is driving more engagement and obviously, as a consequence, driving sales even further.
That's a fantastic overview. Thank you very much indeed. We'll give everybody the details of how they can get in touch with you, Zarina, a little bit later on. But for the moment, Zarina Kanji from Tmall, thank you very much indeed for joining us.
Thanks, David.
I'd now like to move on to somebody who has done, I suppose, what many of us think about doing in our dreams, but Stephen Shortt has actually done it.
Good afternoon. Thank you. Nice to be here.
It was Barack Obama who wrote this wonderful book, which was The Audacity of Hope. And you very much have also taken that on board. Here's a very small company, and you've decided to take on the might of China. First of all, can you give us a little bit of background as to why it is you thought that your male grooming company was right for China?
I already had some experience with export markets from two previous businesses I was involved with family. I had seen the power of export, and when I launched Hawkins and Brimble, which is men's skincare and grooming products, I realized that there was definitely going to be demand from China for the type of product, and we created that in mind, with the packaging, the design, and even some of the products with the Chinese men in mind.
Now, Stephen, tell us a little bit about the experience that you've had this 11/11. Obviously, you're a new brand, and 11/11 is a massive, great big festival. So how does a small new brand fare within the environment where I suppose many people will think this is a game for the big guys?
Current times is that you can do things much more cost effectively with the advent of cloud computing and obviously the internet and e-com sales. China is obviously a huge market and very fast growing in the men's grooming category. And from my perspective, that we've been able to achieve incredible growth since only launching on the market in April this year. We're seeing between 200 and 600% growth, and that's really with the key help of our partner in China.
Now, Stephen, you've also experimented with live streaming this year. Can you just give us a little bit of insight as to what your live streaming experience was?
Yeah, we did a lot of 360 marketing in China. One of them, as you say, live streaming, which is absolutely key, and in my opinion, will only grow in every market in the world following China. We did live streaming in 10 different cities and in barbershops in those cities to demonstrate how the products are used, what kind of style the young Chinese consumer can adopt by using our, for example, hairstyling products. We also used key influencers in China. Some of those are quite famous, as well during those doing those live streaming events. So yes, it's a really exciting time.
Stephen, perhaps you could also share with us, for those people who are considering the China market and haven't quite put their foot on the accelerator, perhaps you can just give people a little bit of your insight, maybe even a little bit of advice as to how they should approach it in a way that is manageable for a small organisation.
Yeah, well, I always think that these things aren't that complicated. Sometimes my team behind me aren't quite so happy about it, but from my perspective, I think a partner in China is key. That partner, there are also some UK companies that can help with sales on platforms like Tmall, but certainly you need to have a key understanding of digital marketing, WeChat, Weibo, all of the different mediums that the Chinese rely on. Obviously, get your products trademarked as well. I did our Chinese trademarks even before we launched, actually 4 years ago, and that's 5 different trademarks with Chinese text as well. Yeah, if you've got the right product, which we think we have, then you can go from zero to we're projecting over 2 million sales in sterling in the next 12 months in China. So you can go from zero to hero, as they say, very, very quickly.
Well, at this particular time, that type of sales growth is something that I think most people would love to have. We wish you much luck and much success in China. I know that in other markets around the world you're beginning to export to. But for the moment, Stephen Shortt, the founder and CEO of Hawkins and Brimble, thank you very much indeed for joining.
Thank you. Thanks for having me.
I'd now like to move on to have a conversation with Mei Lu, who is the Business Development Manager for Alibaba in the EU region. I'm not certain after January whether the UK fits into that. I hope it does. Mei, thank you very much indeed.
Hi David. Hi everyone, I'm Mimi from Alibaba, so I look after the fashion category from an EU perspective.
If you could give us a little bit of insight, Mimi, on what you saw in the fashion category through the lens of 11/11 this year.
This year's Double 11 is incredibly different in a sense that we've seen quite a lot of brands doing in-house live streams this year. When I say in-house live stream, meaning they didn't go to any third-party KOLs. Everything is done by their own people, and they basically done the live stream. The reason why the brands decides to go this way is because it is the best way for them to explain about their brand background, talk about the actual product, what is the key selling point. So showing more expertise behind the concept of their brand and also the products. So for this year's Double 11, within 30 minutes, over 100 million RMB has generated. And we've seen like incredibly strong trends in like men's fashion this year, which is, normally is a category made for women. So it's quite different.
So what do you think is driving those trends? Because the fashion industry, certainly in Europe and in America, has had a very, very hard time over the course of the last few months. I mean, maybe the casual fashion market has done slightly better, but in general, I would say that was true. So what is it that's driving those trends in China?
I think, first of all, the lifestyle of the customers has changed. What we have seen very strong this year is in outdoor sports. So moving away from your traditional Adidas, Nike, these brands is more going towards outdoor skiing oriented, hiking, like if you go camping. So people are more conscious of their health And nowadays, what you find is that people prefer to do outdoor sports rather than spending their time purely in the gym. In addition to this is that we've seen a high rise in yoga products as well. So I guess people can actually do their exercises from home. So yoga wear, I think we've had like at least 700% growth, and then outdoor sports, at least 300% growth. Now, moving away just from this is that influencer brands. When I'm talking about influencer brands, it's more like brands you've seen being mentioned by, these like fashion bloggers, you've seen trending on like Chinese social media platforms like Little Red Book, or even customers who has, used VPN, jump over the firewall, went onto Instagram. So they've seen like brands being mentioned on these like social media platforms, and it also has driven quite a strong sales. So one of the key mention, I'm not going to share the sales number, but one of the key mentions.
Go on. Is, share some sales numbers with us.
Sadly, I don't want to share the number. I want the brand to share the number instead. But the brand.
Well, it was worth a try.
One of the brand is Missoma, which is from the UK. Very, very popular. It's their first Double 11. Very strong. So if any of the the guys from the brand is watching this, hi from me, and then really well done for your performance for Double 11.
So what pointers would you give for people who are looking for growth for 2021 in your categories? What insights do you have to help them understand where that growth might come from in China?
I think for any new brands that is, didn't get the chance to join Double 11 this year, or they want to, enter China via our platform, one of my suggestion is to launch early, at least 5 to 6 months ahead before Double 11. The reason why is that you need to start building the foundation on the platform, get the active consumers that we already have on our platform go into your store, become fan base, and then also give you time to understand the Chinese market, understand your consumers. What you might find is that your original product assortment, what you think is the best seller, might change. So you have time to prepare for the Double 11, get your inventory prepared, and then also work out the marketing that's relevant to the market.
Well, Mei, thank you very much indeed for joining us. We'll also give you the details at the end of this broadcast of how you can get hold of Mei. But for the moment, thank you very much indeed.
Thank you.
Well, I'm now glad to be joined by Jack Porteous, who is the Client Service Director at Samarkand Global. Jack, very nice to speak to you, Jack.
Over caution, I was on mute there. Yes, good to see you.
I think that's going to be the phrase of the year, isn't it? You're on mute.
Yeah, something like that. The OED. We should probably get some kind of anagram to shorten it.
Jack, thanks very much indeed for joining us. You at Samarkand help brands have a presence in China. Perhaps you can give us a little feel of your general observation on 11/11, and in particular, What is the planning process for those people who are interested in 11/11 for 2021?
Yeah, absolutely. So we at Samarkand Global are really pleased with 11/11, as I think most brands are this year. It's been a bumper year, and Alibaba have really led the way on that. And the brand that Zarina mentioned earlier, ProBio 7, is a brand that we represent in the China market. And she mentioned that we'd taken part in a live stream that had 70 million views. That was with an actress called Jing Tian.
Sorry, can you just say that number again?
So 70 million views of that live stream. We didn't sell 70 million units, sadly. Maybe next year, but we did get 70 million views, and it did convert into a really good sales performance that beat our expectations. But the planning for that, that doesn't really happen overnight. The slots with these major live streamers who are the big stars on the Taobao Jabor platform, the Taobao live streaming platform, they book up months and months in advance. And if you miss one of those slots, you're really missing out on a massive sales opportunity. And you've got to make sure you've got the stock in place in time to be able to support it. The last date you can put your stock into the Alibaba warehousing for 11/11 is months before the actual promotion, and then they close the warehouses and don't let you get more in. So this isn't just a case of pull everything together last minute in October. You're really booking in with live streamers, getting your stock in place. It's a hard slog from September onwards, right?
So what would you say is the key for preparation? Because given what you've just said, stock, it's got to get over to China, you've got to do your sales forecasting. This isn't something that you can wake up in, July, August and think, well, actually 11/11's coming around the corner, let's give it a go.
No, absolutely. And I think the real key to this is the relationship that your partner has, whether that's us or your TP or your distributor. The relationship that partner has with the category manager at Alibaba in Hangzhou. So they're called the Xiao'er, and they are kind of stage managing the whole promotion for the category or the subcategory that you're selling in, and they will be allocating resources on the day, getting people involved in the brand level promotion, in the category level promotions, in the pre-sales, and you want to make sure that you've got a really strong relationship with that category manager, or at least your partner does, so that you can get the right traffic to your site, and then the rest of it is pretty stuff that most of the retail brands that are selling on there should already be good at. Sorting out the right promotions, making sure that the product is good, making sure that you've got enough assets and information about that product that you're not underselling yourself. And really, it's that work that goes in 365 days a year of talking to the Alibaba team and making sure that you're at the front of their minds, especially in competitive categories.
I think that's quite interesting, Jack, because in this sort of world where e-commerce, digital, algorithms, forecast, etc., and it's interesting that you still say that fundamentally, to have real success, you need good relationships with people.
Yeah, absolutely. And I mean, look, don't get me wrong. You need the proof of the data as well that it is going to work. If you are, if you're coming in with, say a tanning product for China, that you're not going to get anywhere with the category manager, because they've got the data to back up that just doesn't produce the sales volume that they're looking for. But if you're coming in this year with a slimming product like we have with ProBio 7, a product called Contours, then that can really work with emerging trends. You get great access through Alibaba to data, and if you use that data wisely, then it can help your relationship with that category manager who's in charge of the sales target and in charge of the promotions.
Well, one final thought on data. How important is the data, and how does the data drive great performance over that now extended 11/11 period?
I mean, it's so important, and the access that you get to the data is, increasing every year as well. So you can start doing more with it. I know some of the brands out there who've been on Tmall for a number of years are employing specific data scientists just to mine and figure out exactly, which demographic of which group of consumers are buying specific products. The more tailored you can get with that, the better, because as Alibaba adds on more advertising functions for more specific targeting of specific consumer groups, the better understanding of who your consumer is. My old teacher used to call it your Wendy, right? Who is your Wendy that you're selling to? And if you know who that is, then you can really get targeted with what you're doing, and then leverage live streams to hit more mass markets.
Well, from Wendy to Jack, thank you very much indeed. Thanks very much indeed for joining us, Jack Porteous, who is the Client Service Director at Samarkand Global.
Thank you, David.
Well, it's time for some music. Well, almost. The next best thing. Let's hear from Andy Mooney, the CEO of the iconic guitar brand Fender, about their current sales and China.
Well, we were very concerned in mid-March when 90% of our dealers worldwide who had physical stores closed and our 2 factories were closed. But very quickly after that, we found that consumers who were locked down in various countries around the world looked to using their time beneficially to invest in themselves. And one of the things that they fortunately chose to do in the case of Fender was to learn how to play guitar, many of them for the very first time. We're going to have a record year as a company worldwide. We will also have a record year as a company within China. We've been growing within China in very kind of high double-digit growth for a number of years now. That trend will continue this year. And online sales in general, and really Tmall in particular in the case of China, will continue to grow as a percentage of our total business. So we're thrilled with the success of our business worldwide, and particularly thrilled with the success of our business in China.
Well, I'm delighted now to be joined by Kitty Wang, who is the Asia e-commerce manager for the Royal Mail. Kitty, thanks very much indeed for joining us.
You're very welcome.
Well, Kitty, a number of people will be very surprised in the connection between the Royal Mail and China. So please enlighten us.
Yeah, sure. I mean, this is definitely an intriguing one, isn't it? I mean, I have been to a number of events that's China related. I've been asked many times, why is the Royal Mail here? What is the Royal Mail got anything to do with the China and the China e-commerce? And I mean, this goes way back. You're talking 6 years ago, and Royal Mail has started this initiative with DIT to really set up the platform, providing the low risk and low hassle, low cost model to support the British retailers to export to China, to make this, the whole initiative supporting them. To provide them with a platform so they don't have to go into so much of details, and they don't have to have a resource, they don't have to have an in-house team before they can export to China. So it's really to provide the platform in order to help the British retailers to grow and to test the water for the Chinese market.
Kitty, one of the brands that you look after is a honey brand. Perhaps you can tell us a little bit about that.
Yeah, sure. I mean, can we mention the name of the brand? Of course.
Of course you can. Absolutely.
So yeah, it's Waitrose. I mean, everybody knows about Waitrose. So the Waitrose itself, as we know, there are many supermarkets, for example, like Tesco, Sainsbury's. They have had their offline entry strategy into China, and a few years later, we've seen those guys, the big guys, the big corporates, they have pulled out China. Why is that? I think for us, the most successful thing is we worked with the brand, worked with Waitrose, to found the entry strategy, the correct entry strategy, to look at the lines and the products which we believe it would work the best for the Chinese market. For example,
and I think Kitty, that's a really important point, isn't it? Because you might have loads and loads of SKUs in your ranges, but not all those SKUs are applicable to the China market. So it's very important to be able to identify which particular SKUs are the ones that have the greatest resonance.
Yes, of course. I mean, there are so many British brands, or any, it doesn't have British brands, even Chinese brands. They have so many SKUs that covers so many categories but that does not mean every single SKU will sell and will excel in the e-commerce markets in China. It's always about being able to identify your hero SKU and what will drive the most sales, what will generate the most interest in the Chinese audience.
So give us a little bit of a feel, Kitty, about your overall experience in this year's 11/11. As we've all talked about, a very different feel to the period. How's it work for you and your brands?
13 brands who has been listed and been a part of this Singles Day, and it's been really amazing experience. We have done well historically, but leading up to the Singles Day, we've done so well, linking back to the Alibaba guys, and Jack's been saying how important live stream is and has been for this year. So we've done extensive live stream with as I mentioned before, the in-house team, and we've got the KOLs we worked with, affiliates, and that has actually driven just over 10% of our overall sales. With in mind, our sales this year is actually doubled compared to last year.
Well, that's a pretty impressive performance. Hopefully with your expertise, many other brands can replicate that. But for the moment, Kitty Wang, the Asia e-commerce manager for Royal Mail, thank you very much indeed for joining us.
Thank you.
Well, just after 11/11 finished, I managed to catch up with Simon Boyd, who is the Global Sales Director for SmoothSkin, and asked him about his 11/11 experience. Simon, thanks very much indeed for joining me.
No problem, David. It's all nice to see you.
I'm surprised you're still awake. You must have had one hell of a 10, 15 days. So
I think the black rings under my eyes give it away a little bit, to be honest with you.
So Simon, tell us a little bit about your experience this year on 11/11, and in particular, from an operator's perspective.
I think there's two things. I think this is our third experience of 11/11 as a business. So we're very used to planning this peak, and we start our preparation for 11/11 from May onwards, really. It's interesting to see the change in shape. I think every business that operates in China has seen a change in commercial shape, with a peak at the start of the month and then another peak on 11/11 itself. But actually, I think that's worked from our perspective in that it's allowed us to focus our attention over a longer period of time, from the third week in October. And we've also seen a lot of pre-order activities that we've been able to fulfill a little bit earlier. So overall, we think it's been a positive. We think it's created a longer shopping event and some more demand.
Now, I know you've been an early adopter of live streaming. You had live streaming again this year with the king of live streaming. So tell us a little bit about what you did and what you think the impact might have been.
I think it's fairly open knowledge that live streaming has had a massive impact on the Chinese consumer this year, and it's grown very, very quickly, far more quickly than even any brand could have imagined, and it's now a really important part of our sales mix. As you said, we worked with Austin Lee on 2 promotions this year, and the sales volumes are ahead of our expectations, and the overall experience has been very positive for our business. Again, it's a very positive experience, but again, it has moved business away from the core Tmall platforms, and it will overall next year change the overall marketing mix that we invest in China.
As a sales director for an international company, how do you view this, in a sense, completely new channel of live streaming? You know, we've had sort of channels. Obviously, e-commerce has grown over the course of the last few years, but the channels have been relatively fixed. And here comes, you know, what in ostensibly a completely new sales channel has become a premium sales channel really, really fast.
I think that's the way of the world. I've always spoken, David, about how quickly things change, and I think, you know, with our retail backgrounds, you know, the only constant is retailers change. I think the difference is that the change is happening much more quickly, and new channels appear much more quickly than they used to. So I think live streaming is a great example of that. I think the growth of Tmall, both Tmall Global and TMC, is a great example of that in China, and how quickly they've scaled. And I think what's exciting for businesses like ours is this year it's about live streaming, but next year, what's it going to be about, and what's the new channel for next year? Because I think it's almost impossible now to have a fixed channel strategy globally, because something new is always going to appear that changes the way that your business operates. And great businesses will be the ones that can be fast enough to be able to react to those changes in the market. And I think it's a big challenge for strategically led large brands, because if you're strategically led and it takes you 2 years to plan implementation, you're going to miss the opportunities that happen very quickly in the market.
Now, to what extent do you think that the success you've had in live streaming could be replicable across other territories you operate in?
I think live streaming is going to grow, particularly across Southeast Asia. And I think it's very much in its infancy in the US and in Europe. But the challenge in those markets is that they don't have the fully integrated experience that the Alibaba environment allows customers to buy into. And I think until the Western technology platforms, retail platforms, find a way of fully integrating the solution for the customer in one place, it's going to be very, very difficult to get the same level of traction with Western consumers. But I do believe in Southeast Asia, particularly, it's going to grow very, very quickly. And I see Alibaba as being central to that.
One of the things of 11/11 this year being over a longer period of time is you have the ability to see what's going on and to make some course corrections. In reality, is that possible to do if you set yourself up in the right way?
I think to some extent it is. And I think if you've got the right partner, you can make those quick adjustments that allow you to continue to grow your business. And we were able to make some adjustments during the period, the 11/11 period, to create some incremental growth, which was fantastic. But again, you've got to understand that this is an hourly schedule through 11/11. You're not able to take your eye away from the business for more than an hour. And our Chinese partner does a great job at monitoring the market every minute of the day from the 25th of October all the way through 11/11 to make sure that we're maximizing those opportunities.
Simon Boyd, Sales Director of SmoothSkin, thank you very much indeed for joining us.
Pleasure, David. Thank you.
Fabrice Megarbane, President and CEO of L'Oréal China, talked to us about his approach at L'Oréal to shopping festivals and how important it is to consistently surprise your customers.
Shopping festivals is a consumer-centric event. So in a way, shoppers, they really wait for this moment and they want to be surprised, excited by the brand. And for brands to stay exciting, brands need to reinvent itself every year, and probably in China nearly every month. So this is why I feel always these festivals is a perfect opportunity, that we re-question ourselves. Are we relevant enough to the consumers? Are we explaining enough our innovation? More than ever in this COVID period, we realize that consumers, they're asking themselves question, why I'm buying this and what I'm buying. So we have to be even more educational when it comes to product, to innovation, to how to use them. The world of tomorrow is a full homogeneous world. So the expectation, obviously, is that we are also able to offer this global solution to consumers, that they can interact with our brand, if it's online or if it's offline. It's about keep the contact with them in a much homogeneous way. And that's where we will bring value. We'll bring value to the market and we'll bring value to the consumption.
Well, we've already heard a lot about live streaming. There were many who were new to live streaming during this year's 11/11 festival. One person who found out about the magic of live streams was Magic Johnson himself. Our Tmall colleagues caught up with him live as he was doing his 11/11 CBD product Uncle Bud's live stream. Well, there's very likely to be only one time in my life that during a web session I'll be able to say this, so I'm going to do it slowly and enjoy the moment. So, over to you, Magic.
Me live streaming right now in China, I'm loving that. And look who I'm hanging out with. Look who I'm hanging out with in the back, see? Well, it's great for me to be here with Tmall, and when I think about the Global Walk of Fame and 11/11, and to represent Uncle Buzz and be a part of the company that's growing, that has so many incredible products. Uncle Buzz has really been doing a fantastic job in the United States. Over 15,000 retailers. It's just exploded here.
You're a successful and inspiring businessman. Why did you decide to partner so closely with Uncle Buzz?
Well, I don't get involved with companies unless I really believe in the company. I believe in the products. I believe in their vision. I believe in their mission statement. Uncle Buzz checked all those boxes. So I'm really happy to be a part of the company and to introduce this product line to China. These products are amazing and they work. Well, I think that, CBD products and Uncle Buzz, it's been exploding in America. And I think that it'd be great to bring it to China because it really works. And the fact that I use, when you're my age and you still work out, I'm hurting every time after I'm finished. So I make sure that the topical pain relief, hand sanitizer. So I use a lot of the products myself. And it's just been exploding and growing and growing and growing.
So today, through live streaming, you get to talk directly to Chinese consumers. Have you been to China?
Not yet. So I want to make sure that I go. And now with my partnership with Uncle Buzz, I have something to talk to them about. Not only basketball, but also I can go and talk about business and have an opportunity to meet all the great people in China. And then Yao Ming is my friend, so it's kind of cool to have somebody there that you know, and that'll be great as well.
And what would you like to get across in the live stream today?
Number one, Uncle Buzz is about quality. That's number one. Number two, I think get a chance to really meet Magic Johnson and get to know me. I get to talk to him directly myself. Just enjoy your life, that's number one. Make sure you just take care of your body and your mind. Live a good and healthy lifestyle. And it's important to keep a positive attitude every single day.
Thank you very much.
Thank you so much.
It's a huge honor to have you here.
I really appreciate it. I'm gonna see you in China when I come, okay?
Okay, yeah, definitely.
Great.
Yeah.
Definitely.
Okay.
All right, thank you. Thank you, guys.
Bye.
Bye-bye. Bye. Oh, that was very cool. Can you imagine me being live from LA, but I'm live in China? Oh. It's amazing. Alibaba, thank you. I'm the coolest dude now, right? I did something I've always wanted to do, bucket list thing. I'm the cool dude now. Thank you for everybody for letting me be on. Live streaming, the Magic Man, yes. Thank you.
Well, I'm delighted, as always, to be joined by Deborah Weinzwig, the founder and CEO of Coresight Research. Deborah, thank you very much indeed for joining me.
Thank you so much.
Now, Deborah, you're a very seasoned watcher of both China, retail and 11/11. You can't get a broader canvas than that. So what's your overall take of 11/11 2020?
David, that is a big question. I think that we saw Alibaba, experiment with a new strategy, which by all accounts was a smashing success. And, this idea that, especially in 2020, where consumers might want to feel more engaged with others, have a reason to celebrate, fun, gamification, engagement, live streaming, they offered it all. I mean, as did the, kind of other platform players in China. And, the consumer reacted, right? I mean, they shopped, they engaged, and, obviously at the highest level, I mean, I think it broke all records. And I do think that great communication, great customer service, having this idea of like a festival and fun, right? It wasn't just what we saw in terms of sales in China, right? This was truly a global shopping festival. And, for me, as somebody who has, spent many years, kind of in the, kind of throes of Double 11, whether it was in, kind of China or this year, from the US, I do think that we've continued to see this, kind of greater appreciation for what it is, for what it represents. And it's just, to me, it's right. It's a day or in the past and, here several days just to have fun and engage and to share and to have, this great experience. And I do think that the experience, sometimes as we're talking to those in the West, helping them understand what leads to conversion and ultimately customer satisfaction and happiness, there is this additional kind of focus on the consumer experience around Double 11, which I think is what's led to not only the success this year, but in the past.
Now, you mentioned gamification and having fun. I suppose you could sort of umbrella that under social commerce. Now, social commerce has been long talked about and has serially underperformed outside of Asia. So do you think that social commerce is going to take off outside of Asia in the next few years? And what is the catalyst that's needed to make that happen?
David, I've spent, going back to when we first, kind of discovered social commerce and the impact and once again, this fun factor, this gamification from a consumer perspective. And also, right, if, the amount of data that's available to the retailer, the brand, so that they can, do an even better job of this customer service, this customer experience aspect. I've likened it, and maybe this is, the right way or the wrong way to think about it, but this idea that, in the West, we still love our credit cards, right? We really haven't moved to, right, a digital wallet or digital payments. And, maybe it's that, we have other, kind of, if you will, TV shopping networks and whatnot. And maybe that's good enough for right now. And so we're not willing to move to more of a social commerce live streaming experience. We still don't have, right, the platforms, they do feel very antiquated when we're comparing them to what we see in China. And I do think, right, we need the platforms. We would have thought that, some of the companies that are involved with, kind of, if you will, TV shopping networks would lead this. There's definitely some startups, but it's, I think that the customer, and certainly in 20, where they've spent more time shopping from a, kind of digital first, I do think there's a greater interest and curiosity, but we still don't have the foundation at this point to move ahead. And what we've seen is also really interesting. Those companies in the West who've really kind of jumped in with both feet, they tend to be more global or have been influenced from China in terms of, right, just a curiosity around, what Ali and JD and others are doing to engage the consumer. And that, I think, has led to their, stepping out and doing more around social commerce and live streaming.
Well, I think that 2021 is shaping up to be an even more interesting year from a retail perspective than 2020. I hope we'll find many opportunities to talk about that in the future. But for the moment, Deborah Weinzwig, the founder and CEO of Coresight Research, thank you very much indeed for joining us. I'd like to give our final reflections to Mike Evans, the president of Alibaba Group, for a helicopter perspective of what the festival results teach us in their broadest context.
At the most fundamental level, to be able to produce that result over this 11-day period shows you how quickly and how well the Chinese economy has recovered from the pandemic and how strong and powerful the Chinese consumer is. Yes, we gave more time for the consumers to shop, but we also focused on the smaller businesses and the smaller brands to give them more time to profile their new products. And I think the combination of the two has really shown itself to be exactly the right model to achieve this type of result. So really an extraordinary result. Well, the US businesses did very well. What I can tell you so far is as of 11 p.m. China time, so with 1 hour to go, because the data is lagging just a little bit, US businesses have contributed more than $5 billion, which means that the US is the single largest contributor of any country globally outside of China. To put this in context, right? Of course, the big businesses, the Estee Lauders, the Apples, the Nikes, they've done extremely well. But as you know, one of our big focuses this year was small businesses. And whether it's Uncle Bud and the live streaming from Magic Johnson, or Bissell, or Allbirds, or Pipit, or Fender, or Theo Bigelow, this was a huge focus for us this year because we wanted to show that with technology and with focus, the China market is open to everybody, not just the big guys, the little guys as well. Clearly, recovery from the pandemic has had a huge impact on this result. The size of this consumer base, the 800 million plus consumers on our platform, they're back purchasing it at levels pre-COVID. I think also shopping has changed. And if you look at the things that the consumers are buying today, food, luxury, autos, home, online, there's been a change, primarily as a result of COVID, that this is an opportunity for big brands and small businesses. So we've made a very big focus on that this year. And then finally, and I think probably the most important message is for all brands, big or small, a China strategy and a digital strategy is going to be absolutely critical to survival and success in the future. Pleasure. Thank you.
Well, we've almost come to the end of our broadcast this afternoon. As I said at the beginning, we've created a special 11/11 Command Center resource site, which has been running through the 11/11 period, and we will be continuing to update it. Here's the URL, so please use it and share with your colleagues. We'll be posting on this site for you to download when it's published our Dates with Destiny China Shopping Festival publication, which we've written, and a very special thanks to the Alibaba Group for their assistance and insights during its creation. Please feel free to reach out to Alibaba either via Zarina or Meme. Their email address is running at the bottom of the screen now. Of course, I'm available to give specific insight presentations on Alibaba and 11/11 to your teams and clients and to help in any way. So just send me an email, david.roth@wpp.com. A very big thank you to all of our partners at Alibaba, especially Pema Seeley, and to our team at WPP, especially Beth Ann Davis, Joe Bowman, and our videos and China films, a special thanks to Tuin Dasgupta. And of course, all of my guests for their time and generosity with their insights. Thanks again for watching, and we hope this has been insightful and interesting. Have a good evening or afternoon wherever you are in the world. Keep well and safe.